So, when you send a picture like this to the Steam forum, you're definitely going to get my attention. Cute. When you follow it with a picture like this, you're going to get my opinions. And that they did. I told them to get rid of the ramps or the interchanges and use a separated one. Put the on-ramps here and put the off-ramps down the ways a bit. You'll see. Other people suggested tear out the Industry because it's like way too big. She's pretty big, but way too big? Yeah, I don't know about that. Other people said, again, tear it out and put Industry in smaller pockets. Others suggested mods. Me being me, I'm going to take what you give me and I'm going to make it work. Right? Without reinventing the wheel, I'm just going to give you a hand. Like here. These are the off-ramps. These off-ramps are coming off the highway going into Industry. If you look at that 6-lane closely, the people who are getting off onto the 6-lane from the left, they stay on the left, the other ones stay on the right. If they need to merge over, they do it after the first bend, right? Where there's a whole whack of nodes. I think there's like 7 nodes along that 6-lane, so that they can get from one side to the other with very little collisions. Because we all know what happens at that wishbone, right? They stop each other. The splitting here, well, I decided to make 3 main pathways. The center one, the left one, and the right one. The center one, as you can see, I disconnected a couple of the roads from the main road. And down there where you see the clump, well, that's pretty much the main intersection for this Industry. And intersections, even though they're just 4 corners, they're not as simple as that. They can be, but to get them running with volume, you got to mix and match the pieces around the intersection. And actually, if you look, there's a lot of interesting little pieces of road in this Industry that I changed up. And they all have a reason. And one day I'd love to talk about that. Out here, that's the output. That's the traffic that goes back to the highway. Oh, it also needed a traffic light. Without a traffic light, oh, they would just jam like putting marbles in a funnel. You know they're all going to get clogged up. But with the traffic light, man, sometimes the amount of traffic that goes through here is wild. Basically, what I'm telling you is City Skylines is a traffic management simulator and a city builder built into it. It's 2 games in one. What I mean by that is if you want, you can play the traffic side too, like I did here. Now this is one of those cinematic camera flybys, so I'm speaking after the fact. I'm going to show you around a little bit, not deeply, but just so you get a fair idea of what the basic construction is. To the right there, you see that loop, that partial loop? That's exiting the cargo terminal, in which I actually got 2 of them because one didn't do, or one wouldn't do the job. Interestingly enough, where the cargo terminal used to be wasn't doing the job either, but you really couldn't tell because of the backup how busy the terminal wanted to be. See the gap here on the left in the roadway by the 6-lane? That's where it used to sit. And yeah, when you're dealing with terminals like this, think of them as their own property that needs a driveway. That way you can put one of those traffic sponge things if you want. Or you can build something as weird as this. And it's not really that weird, it's just, well, City Skylines has certain rules. Right? I've got these 2 collecting all the traffic from that Industry. And either they export it or trains come in with their materials, because that's all generic. All of it. The point is in my mind, I've yet to find an industry that's too big to handle. They say that industry generates traffic, but, well, yeah, I guess it does, since things have got to come in on trucks and leave on trucks. If they go up by train, well, they got to use trucks to get it to the train. So yeah, that's where the traffic management part comes in. Yeah, we'll let this song play out too, because I think we're coming close to the end of the cinematic. But there's a lot of little tricks you can use. But since people thought that the traffic was busted, yeah, they all go for traffic manager. And I may have mentioned this before, but in my opinion, traffic manager was designed under the premise of traffic being broken. So that's pretty much why I don't use it, because it changes the dynamic, the feel of this game so much that for me it's just not worth using. Now, I tried it when it first came out. I even looked at the code when it first came out. And that's why I know it's designed based on a broken game, or their opinion that the game is broken. The game isn't broken. It just has simplistic rules. If you understand those rules, you can do pretty much anything in this game. So, don't let the traffic scare you. Because, I mean, this is a fair-sized industry. Look at that traffic merging left and merging right. But like I said, this is a fair-sized industry. And don't let large industry scare you. All the streets except for this main little chunk of one-way are bi-directional. So they can, well, since we know that deliveries are not just one per truck, they can be 4 per truck. And since this is the only industry, that one truck has got to go to 4 different places. So you need bi-directional roads, or else they're just going to get dizzy going around and around and around. It's not that they can't do it. They'll just take a long time. But when I saw this industry, it's like, whoa, I wonder if I could tame this. And there's some stuff here that I could show you about the industry, like dissect my roadway builds just a bit more so you can understand them. But I'll leave that to you to let me know that you're curious to find out. Because no doubt you've seen the little chunks of dirt roads that I put down, and they don't mean the same thing all the time, or they don't do the same job all the time. This here, it only works with a traffic light. Because can you imagine trying to control this without one? Yeah, you people that play without traffic lights, yeah, this is one of those situations that when you don't have a traffic light, you're hooped. So we've reached the end of the cinematic. I think we're going to play to the end of this song, right? Just so I can sit here and enjoy the traffic some more and show you. The industry being separated from the town like this made it a lot easier to deal with, right? It's kind of, there was another video I showed you where I have the bypass road. Oh, this one, as you can see down at the bottom there, it's got a bypass road too. But their traffic or their industry was separated from the town a good distance away. But yeah, don't be afraid of traffic. As you can see, there's a lot of it here, especially on this highway. And there's certain highway things going on here that, yeah, it can all be explained. I just don't have the time for it right now. Eventually, I'm going to shut that window out. Right now, I'm contemplating, do I save this flyby or do I just kind of close it? And I'm talking about the cinematic camera. Eventually, I'm just going to close it because I want to show you this town. I thought if I was going to have problems anywhere, it was going to be this town. Right, because the zoning, here we go, shut it without saving. Now that flyby is gone. This is the only copy I've got left. Watch this. Can you see the zoning here? How much commercial there is? Here, let me do this. And see that? In my opinion, that should be like totally traffic jammed. But it's not. It's running smooth as silk, which is incredibly interesting. Something for me to learn from and try to figure out why. But for now, for those people who didn't want to run the city, this is what it looks like. Yeah, that looks like my next project, doesn't it? That's not going to be hard. You know, I keep telling you don't put double lane exits. I'm going to put a double lane exit, but I'm going to show you how to properly do it in city skylines, if you're curious. Yeah, that's just too busy that way. This way, separating the input from the output, you don't get cross traffic as much. Actually, nowhere near. It's a good design. I've used it many times. As a matter of fact, when it comes to industry, this is how I do it. I always separate it. I bet you if you go back through my library, almost every industry that I've ever built, I've separated coming in from going out. Maybe it's just a simplistic thing to do. Seems to work for me. That's a lot better than that. Roundabouts, oh my gosh. Roundabouts always choke down to one lane. Even if you could, the most you're going to ever get is 2 lanes to ever dedicate itself to a roundabout. So, I mean, for industry, they suck. Anyways, ciao. Have fun.